Hey everyone, it's Brian here once again. Now it's about 12:20 at night, and it's fairly late for me to be doing one of these videos, but I'm actually annoyed about something now. Unlike other videos which I've done, this one is kind of different. Now the thing is, I've just come back from the cricket, and tonight's events, well, I could say public display, kind of got to me. And I bet you didn't just get to me, but got to other people as well. But they sometimes feel too suppressed to actually kind of let it out. And seeing as I have such a large target audience that actually watches my videos and stuff, I said this is a good way to kind of not educate, but kind of take into account our wrongs. Now firstly, before I say anything, I'm going to start with one line that a friend of mine, good friend of mine, Matt McKay, said. He said, you can't define normal, but saying that, you need to know when it's alright to say stuff and when it's time to draw the line. Now, to give you an example of this so-called incident that happened at the cricket, you know what, I'm too annoyed to talk about it right now. I'll just go through this in the morning, but yeah, just tune in. So it turns out I couldn't really wait till morning because, I don't know, it just got to me. Because see, look, we live in a multicultural society, and we live in a society where kind of if people do one thing, and even though that one thing may be wrong, it's alright to kind of stick it to one person because the whole group of people is doing it. And it's kind of like the culture we're brought up with. But that kind of doesn't mean it's right. Now, what I'm talking about over here is actually what happened at the cricket was, okay, this was a 2020 match. It was against Bush Rangers versus Queensland. And we were sitting in Bay 13. Now, for those who are tuning in internationally, Bay 13 is this grandstand where the crowd is always a bit rowdy and uplifting, and at times actually motivating, and makes you, kind of brings the spirit of the game. But today what I witnessed was kind of not that at all. It was just kind of horrible. And what happened was, we were sitting in the grandstand, and there was this one guy. He was ethnic, one could say, best describe it. Alright? And he said something. Now what's happened is, all of a sudden, one kid is gotten up and started yelling a chant. Okay? And take note of these words when I say this chant, okay? The words were, show us your visa. And it wasn't just targeting a group, but it was targeting this one individual. Now in the back of everyone's minds, they knew it was wrong to say it. Okay? But because it was in this environment where chanting is acceptable because it's the culture of the game and it's alright to stick it to a person, suddenly you had one person get up, then another person get up, three people get up, 4 people get up, 5 people, soon you have about 30 or 40, 50 people up and yelling, show us your visa, show us your visa, show us your visa. Now, for a moment, if you just kind of wait there and actually imagine what it might have been being like that person, alright, getting this whole mob bagging you, okay? It's not racism, it's more, well, it is kind of racism, but it's also the fact that you're segregating this one person because he's different, okay? And suddenly, because a group is doing it, it's considered to be acceptable. Now, look, many people are going to probably comment on this and talk crap back and say, you know what, Brian? It's part of the culture. It's a part of the game. It's part of this. It's part of that. But is it really, or is it just you trying to say it is because you want it to be a way, you want it to be accepted? And it's funny, what happened was, this kid has got up, okay? He's got up on his chair because he's feeling mad. This kid has been segregated because he's really worked up because he just feels like he's the smallest person in the world and he's giving it to the crowd, okay? He's there swearing and yelling, okay? And what's happened is all of a sudden, one of the coppers on patrol has come down and taken him aside and pulled him out of the crowd. Suddenly the crowd's chanting, "You're going home," in the back of a divvy van, which for international viewers, it's a police van, or which we cops take you in. And everyone clapped and cheered. But later on, when they actually sat down, it kind of sunk into them that what they did was kind of wrong. And it's funny when we actually think about that, because look, it's a couple of moments earlier, some kid was blowing his whistle, okay? He was just blowing a whistle at the cricket. And the security guard came and tried to take the whistle off him, and he threw the whistle away, and suddenly they kicked him out of the grounds, or they moved him from the venue. And it's funny that a security guard will remove you for blowing a whistle, yet when someone starts a chant, they won't go and get the person who started the chant. No, because there's a whole mob they're dealing with. No, they'll get the individual that's targeted. Now, I'm going to continue the rest of this video in the morning. Now, I don't even know when it's going to come out, but when it does, I'm sure it's going to stir up a lot of hell. But I hope it does, because the moment it stirs up a lot of hell, okay, I know you've got the message. So good night. So it's morning now, and I've had a chance to kind of regather my thoughts and stuff, and look, sure, I had a great night yesterday at the cricket, okay, with friends. I've even made a couple of new friends, but yesterday still kind of got to me, and I know it got to others as well, and it would have especially got to the kid who had that whole mob kind of yelling that chant to him, which was kind of "show us your visa." And I know for a fact that's always going to stick with him, because firstly, to get it done to you in the MCG, and secondly, to get a whole mob say that to you. But in saying that, I must acknowledge that even though we had most of Bay 13 standing up and yelling this chant at this kid, or joining in the chants about the girls, or so on, among that group there was still a handful of people who actually stood their ground, sat down, and didn't get involved. And I think that's really commendable, because it just shows that there's actually good people in the world out there. And yeah, the world's not just full of people who don't care. And it's not like those people don't care, it's just they get caught up in the moment. And because one person does it, suddenly, like I said before, it becomes acceptable for you to join in. Doesn't mean it's right. But at the end of the day, we need to kind of draw the line. Because as my friend Matt McKay said, you can't define normal. And something that might be normal to our culture, our so-called sports atmosphere, you could say, could actually affect someone. Because it's like not a joke at the end of the day. To them, if they don't get it, it kind of is hurtful. But what I think is important is, for those of you who actually feel a little bad for joining in or watching this, or you know you've done it to others, don't feel guilty. Because at the end of the day, you are a human being. And we take this as a learning curve. And that was in the past. Today is the future. It's a new year. And you can make that New Year's resolution, for example. But all in all, remember, you can't define normal. And it's definitely not a joke if someone's meant to feel left out, small, or segregated. So, I hope you guys had an amazing New Year's. Keep smiling. Remember to comment or rate this video. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments about this one in particular. But take care and keep smiling. Bye bye now.